Okay, in previous lessons we talked about getting the gross profit, taking sales minus your cost of goods sold. Here, let me show that last lesson. So your sales minus your cost of goods sold. Let's put the parentheses in there to show that it's subtracting. Getting to a gross profit, and then getting a gross profit margin based on this calculation. Now what I'd like to talk about now will be how that impacts your pharmacy and really comparing products in gross profit percentages, like what when it's important to look at the percent, when it's important to look at the actual dollar amount that you get. And I'd like to show an example of two different medications, what it might cost the pharmacy, and how using that same kind of calculation to see what might be more profitable. I think this would influence policy discussions around the state and around the country, if you actually break down how certain products compare in terms of profitability and what type of revenue that brings in for a pharmacy. And for the example, this is an example I do with my students a lot, as I show a very common drug. Let's show Lipitor. We'll say a patient is put on Lipitor 10 milligrams, and we'll compare that patient to a patient who is on the generic for Zocor or Simvastatin. Of course, for Lipitor, the generic is atorvastatin. So we'll say Simvastatin. I hope I don't run out of room. Simvastatin, and a comparable dose for 10 milligrams of Lipitor would be 20 milligrams of Simvastatin therapeutically. So in terms as a pharmacist or physician, looking at a patient on a cholesterol medication, one that's on 10 milligrams of Lipitor would be comparable to someone, or that if you were to switch medications and try to get the same outcome, you'd want them on 20 milligrams of Simvastatin. And I'm going to use some made up numbers, but these numbers are fairly accurate, considering that I've managed in a pharmacy for a few years now, and I know around the approximate cost and then sales value for a drug like Lipitor and Simvastatin. So again, I am just going to make up the numbers for math's sake, and not to give up any proprietary information for any pharmacy that I've worked for in the past. So when we look at our our sales number, and I'll just put sale, and remember COGS or cost of goods sold, and then our gross profit. Okay, and then we'll even put our gross profit percent. Let's just kind of work out these numbers. Okay, and so for Lipitor, and again we'll both assume that for both of these prescriptions, the quantity is going to be for 30 tablets of each. It's typically, these drugs are taken once daily. So for Lipitor, for 30 tablets, let's say that a cash price without any insurance or what have you, let's just say that the cash price is, we'll do $100. So we'll say that our sale was for $100. In order for us to purchase this medication, the cost of that sale, we'll just say was, I don't know, we'll say that this medication cost us $80 to purchase. So again, our gross profit, you'll take out the 80. Gross profit was $20. And the gross profit percent, which we calculate by taking the gross profit divided by sales times 100, or 100%. So you take 20 divided by 100, that would be 0.2 times 100%, or 20%. So our gross profit's a nice easy thing to calculate here, 20%. And again, the number, this easy math will help us out, but is pretty close. If you check out the price of Lipitor, it may not be far off. The cost and gross profit amounts may be different depending on what pharmacy you're at. Now for simvastatin, let's say that for 30 simvastatin tablets, the pharmacy makes the sale, and it's actually, since it's a generic medication, this one's only going to cost, or cost the patient, $20. The cost to buy that medication, we'll just say, let's see, if we take $20 for the simvastatin, and we'll just say that the cost of the drug, that it just costs us, we'll just say $5. Much cheaper medication, cost the pharmacy. So again, now your gross profit is going to be 15, and then your gross profit percent, again, we're just going to take our 20, or we're going to take our 15 divided by the 20, which is 0.75 times 100, will give us 75%. So 75% gross profit percentage. Now, what's interesting, that if you look at these two problems, and now if we're just looking at percents, you're thinking, gee, gross profit wise, that's great for the pharmacy. Well, that's supposed to be a greater than sign. So what does it say? Way greater than 75% is way greater than 20% in terms of gross profit. And you would think, gosh, if we just sold a ton of simvastatin, man, our pharmacy would make so much money at 75% gross profit. We would definitely be retiring early. However, if you look at what dollars are actually coming in, and a wise independent pharmacist once told me that he can't pay his bills with a percentage. So while the 75% looks good, if you look, the gross profit, the actual gross profit dollars was just $15 compared to $20 here with the Lipitor. So for every one prescription that's sold of the Lipitor, the overall cost to the patient was $100, nearly 5 times the amount of the simvastatin. But the pharmacy actually made $5 more. So then they would make in terms of their gross profit on the simvastatin. So, and then if you've worked in a pharmacy, you know that 30 simvastatin tablets are going to take up about the same amount of space. So, same vial, same label, same receipts, everything else. All the other costs would be equal. The only different costs are going to be your cost of goods sold. And so, all things being equal, if you were running a pharmacy, you would rather sell Lipitor than simvastatin. The incentive would lie with Lipitor, the more expensive drug, even though that incentive may not be the best for the patient. If you look at that, and I think that's an important point that needs to echo to anyone in terms of policy, that the incentives for the pharmacy and for drug companies or what have you are not with generic medications, and that's where I think reimbursements could be affected if we did something to offset this loss for the pharmacy. If say a dispensing fee was added, you had your cost, you have your sale and cost of goods sold. Well, if the sale included a dispensing fee of greater than, in this case, $5, so you'd want at least $5 to make it equal, or $6 or anything greater than $5, $5.01 or whatever, to make the incentive where the pharmacy's gross profit would actually be greater dollar-wise for simvastatin than it would be here. Even if you added, say, let's just say you added a $6 dispensing fee here, and the sale was then $26. Well, of course, that changes. Your cost is still the same, but now our gross profit's at 21 in real dollars. And then again, I guess if you do the math to finish out the example, $21 divided by $26 would give you roughly 81%, or times 100% to give roughly 81% gross profit. Again, the percentage still looks great, but now we're getting into where you get $21, which is greater than $20, and the actual incentive would now lie with simvastatin in terms of reimbursement for that. And the overall cost to the patient is still, it's still roughly a fourth of what the overall sale for the Lipitor would be. And then the incentives would align. You would end up lowering overall healthcare cost, and then the pharmacies wouldn't be punished for that. So anyway, just something to think about when in looking at why sales, cost of goods sold, gross profits, and gross profit percentages, why they matter, and how they actually affect your pharmacy's business.